Final Fantasy Tactics is one of those games that I first played as a child back when I was still new to the RPG and SRPG genres. As much as I adored the game back then, for some reason I never put aside the time to give it another playthrough. More recently, the reason for this was because I was waiting for the rumoured remaster for years, which, as you probably know, felt like an eternity of waiting. But that all changed in late 2025 when this powerhouse SRPG was finally remastered as FF Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Since its original release all the way back in 1997, fans have often considered it as the bar for grid-based tactical RPG combat, and that is a claim that is rightly deserved. There truly is something special about this game, and I am so happy that now everyone who hasn't had a chance to experience this classic can finally see what all the fuss is about, and with a fresh coat of paint. Before we get into the review, I'd like to thank the publishers for the review code, and all footage that you see is from the PS5 version of the game. Also, if you liked this review, it would help me out a lot to hit that like button and sub for more JRPG content coming soon. Before we get into it, just a quick word on the new line of figures that have just dropped. This time, it's for a JRPG series that has a seriously huge fanbase, but not nearly enough merch. But this has recently changed with the first wave of Skies of Arcadia figures. This first line includes Fina, Vice, and Aika, and they look amazing. I am not only excited to get my hands on more figures, but also to finally add something Skies of Arcadia to my gaming room. I'm also a huge Shenmue fan and was lucky enough to be sent the first wave for that series. If any of this interests you, or if you just want to see what other great JRPG series they have figures for, click the link below, which will also get you 5% off orders over $50 and help out this channel. Alright, now let's get into the review. FF Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles features quite a few enhancements that really improve the quality of the game. Most significantly is that it is now fully voiced. Now, this game can be quite dialogue heavy, and the addition of quality voice acting goes so far in adding to this storyline. This is by far my favourite thing about the remaster. In addition to this, there's also been some slight graphical upgrades along with some interface and accessibility improvements, as well as some slight story additions and tweaks to the job balancing and progression. And if you have played the original, you may remember the frustration caused with 3D environments blocking your view. This time around, there's a brand new top-down view, but personally, I didn't like it as it doesn't show vertical terrain, so I still found myself frequently swinging that camera around, unable to get that view that I really wanted. And for you purists who like to experience games the way they were originally designed, there is the option to play the classic version too, which is something that all remasters should include. One of the most beloved things about FF Tactics is the political wartime tale that it tells. The story centers around Ramza, a young noble who becomes disillusioned with the corruption and betrayal within the aristocracy and military. As rival factions battle for control following the death of the king, Ramza uncovers a deeper conspiracy involving the church and another mysterious ancient force. This story has been widely praised for having one of the most ambitious and thought-provoking stories seen in the series. There are a lot of layers here with tons of lore encouraging multiple playthroughs to really get a grasp on it all. But these complexities do make it quite difficult to follow for first-time players and people like me who haven't played the original game in decades. You see, there are loads of characters that come and go, each with different motivations, plenty of different factions and alliances, and loads of questions constantly being thrown your way. Fortunately, there is a very useful Chronicles section which details information on all of the characters, key terms, and the current state of the world. This was so useful for me, and I feel that systems like this are absolutely necessary for these types of games. I just wish you could bring up character and lore information during a scene, just like you could in Final Fantasy XVI. Progression through the story is done by navigating around the world map. Here, you can select a location for Ramza to travel to, which will usually either be a field location full of monsters or a town. When you reach a location with a story mission, you'll be presented with story scenes and a story battle before returning back to the map where new paths will open up. Something new in this remaster is that when you step on field locations, you now have the choice as to whether or not you wish to initiate the battle rather than being forced into the battle. This was a great quality of life addition as it lets you choose exactly when you wish to grind. When it comes to towns, entering these will reveal a menu where you can shop, hire generic warriors, or take on errands. These errands require you to temporarily lose characters and then simply move a number of spaces on the map until it has been completed. The completion of these will provide those characters with job points, plus level up your adventure and treasure level. You'll also sometimes be rewarded with artifacts, which is great for you lore junkies out there. While these errands did provide some benefits, doing them was a chore as you literally just need to move spaces on the map until they're completed, which can become very repetitive, especially considering there's so many of them. But on the plus side, at least this remaster does have a speed up option and, like I said before, the ability to avoid random encounters. Also worth mentioning is that in the final chapter, there are a few optional quests that you can take on that lead to unlocking optional characters. I really would have liked more of these throughout the game, especially since the only other optional activities include repetitive errands, grinding, and farming. FF Tactics features strategic grid-based gameplay where most of the time you either have to defeat all enemies on a map or take down a specific target. At the start of each battle, you choose 5 characters to take into combat, which, to be honest, feels a tad limited when compared to modern SRPGs, but that's just the way things work here. Due to the amount of time I invested in my main party, I ended up using the same 5 every single time and then replacing one if a better story character came along. I wish there was more incentive to use other characters too, but I just wasn't prepared to spend the time grinding to strengthen them up to the level of my main 5. The strategic battles here work very well. Being a game from the 90s, FF Tactics won't present you with anything you haven't seen before, but there is a clear beauty in its simplicity as all the elements work so well together. The battles are also quite short and sweet. When you do need to retry, it doesn't feel too punishing in regards to wasting your time. This is a good thing too, because what is punishing is some of the difficulty spikes. There were quite a few battles in this game that absolutely kicked my ass, sending me straight back to the world map to grind. Now, while this combat is one of the standout features of this great game, there are a few other things worth mentioning. One is that things can get quite frustrating with success rates of landing attacks. Like when you miss 3 times in a row with an attack that's meant to have an 80% hit rate. But on the other hand, it also feels super great to block an attack at a crucial time that would otherwise kill you. That is just the nature of the game. Also worth noting is that when a character is KO'd on the battlefield for 3 turns, they are gone for good, which means that there's always a frantic rush to revive them. Having a permadeath right near the end of battle was probably the reason for most of my retries. Now, I would not be doing my job as a reviewer if I didn't discuss Tactics' highly addictive job system. There are 20 generic jobs that can be unlocked once the prerequisite jobs reach a certain level, such as the monk job unlocking when a character is a level 3 knight. Each story character also comes with their own unique job, which really helps them stand out from other generic characters. And then there's monsters that you can recruit who breed like rabbits, filling your available character slots faster than you can hit that like button. So yeah, you do occasionally need to spend a bit of time manually dismissing them so you have room for other characters. Now, the true fun of this job system comes in learning the job's unique abilities. You'll be able to spend a character's job points to unlock action, reaction, support, and movement abilities, and once learnt, they can be equipped regardless of the character's current job. Mixing and matching all of these abilities is so much fun and allows you to create some crazy combinations. I also mentioned before that the grind is real, but the good news is that it always felt so rewarding to gain that JP and unlock that new ability that you've been eyeing off for hours. In my opinion, Final Fantasy Tactics has one of the most enjoyable job systems out there. It may have taken far longer than it should have, but a modern Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is finally here. Everything I loved about this powerhouse SRPG back in the day is back again, with a load of new features that make it the most accessible version of the game. The most notable new feature to me was the addition of voice acting, which is such a game changer. The complex, mature political story is definitely another standout feature here and offers so much for those willing to take the time to learn all about the lore. But for me, it was the combat that really steals the show. There's something so nostalgic about selecting your 5 characters, then strategically moving them around the small battlefields, decimating your foes. Until they decimate you. Some of the difficulty spikes are next level, and in order to stand a chance in some of these scenarios, or to get your other characters up to a decent level, you'll need to spend a lot of time grinding. But at least the grinding feels rewarding thanks to the outstanding job system, which provides a load of flexibility when mixing and matching abilities. The only other real issue that I had was with the camera views. Sure, we get a new top-down menu that helps us see things, but I still found myself swinging around that camera looking for that perfect view far more often than I would have liked. Final Fantasy Tactics is so highly regarded for a reason, and it really is one of the best strategy RPGs out there. If you've never had a chance to play it, this is your chance. This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you hit that like button and sub for more RPG content coming soon. See you next time.